Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Are You There, Dog? It's me, Kerry. And for this episode, this Halloween episode, I want to introduce very shortly a special guest named Amy, who has a Romanian Rescue dog called Max. And she is going to be telling me a truly dark and terrifying story of dog training from hell. So grab a cup of tea, turn the lights down, snuggle up with your dog if they choose to do so with you, and listen to this cautionary tale. Okay, so you've got Max, who is a Romanian Rescue. How long have you had him?
We've had Max now, it'll be 3 years, I think, in total. We got him when he was 6 months old.
Oh.
So yeah, 3 months now.
Okay, and what was he like when he first arrived at your home?
Max was terrified of everything. Max, one time, I always tell people in Heaton Park, he vomited because he was so overwhelmed. One time I was walking him and he spun around on the spot, like yelping. Really, really scared of everything, really explosive reactions. And in the house as well, just never settled. And we were very sleep deprived for the first 6 months to a year that we had him, because he was up a lot in the night as well. So he's always been very gentle, very soft. Like when he's like any street dog. When they let you in, you're in. And he loves that intimacy and that affection. But he definitely wasn't his true self for a long time. In the beginning, it was just fear overrode everything for Max.
And so would you say he was hardest to cope with when you were outside?
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
And in busy areas. Like I said, I'm in Heaton, which is a very doggy part of Newcastle. So we had the difficulty setting on high. It felt like to have a reactive dog.
Yeah. And did people make comments to you when you were out and about?
Yeah, they did. And do you know what's interesting as well is there's a gender thing here. Not to get on my shtick a few seconds into the podcast, but
this is a safe space for that shtick. Don't you worry.
Good. Okay, good. Sorry if you can hear Max chewing his tail, listeners. My partner didn't have it nearly as much as I did. I had a lot of people coming up to me and saying, you ought to train that dog, or eye rolls, or some people just letting their dogs rush mine when I was really explicitly saying, please, can I have some space? We had a lot of looks as well, particularly once we went, and we'll go into this in a moment, I'm sure, down that balanced training route. We really got some looks then, which was difficult. As a chronic people pleaser and a very self-conscious person, it's really hard to have a reactive dog for lots of reasons, but that adds another layer to it, I think.
How long after Max had arrived? He's looking over at me at the moment. When I arrived at Max's home, I gave him some chews to help him settle, and now he's just kind of keeping an eye on me, just thinking, is there going to be another one coming?
He's pretty
soon?
Infatuated right now, yeah.
He's gorgeous. But yeah, so how long after he'd arrived did you start thinking, we need to get some help, professional
Honestly,
help?
Not long at all. I think it was maybe 2-3 weeks. Mm-hmm. It really wasn't long. I was one of those really dangerous people that grew up with Labradors and thought I knew everything.
I've had dogs all my life.
Yeah, exactly. I know what I'm doing here. And spoiler alert, listeners, I didn't. So yeah, we were maybe 3 weeks in when I went to Google and Googled dog training. And up until that point, I'd never worked with a professional dog trainer. Obviously, we had labs back home in the middle of nowhere in Lincolnshire. They didn't really need professional help, like it was so easy, and I was completely out of my depth, and I just wanted a silver bullet.
Yeah.
And that was what I was just Googling, was just, who can fix this, essentially.
And so were there any particular key words that you were looking for when you were Googling the dog trainer, or was it literally, and there's no judgment here at all, were you looking at price, were you looking at, tell me about what you were looking for.
Yeah, of course. So what I Googled was just dog trainer Northeast, and my barometers were, it was the price. Mm-hmm. This sounds really stupid now I'm saying it. I looked for one that was really expensive, because to me that just indicated quality. That meant, they must be lucrative, maybe they have a backlog. Like, I wanted someone that really wasn't going to mess me around and was going to fix this. So I looked for one that was really expensive, and then my other thing was Google reviews, how many reviews they had, and then that's how I found the first people that we worked with that were a very established organisation, and they had their own site that they worked from, and they had all these reviews that were 5-star, all these dogs all over their Instagram that were behaving perfectly, and it never ever entered my mind that I should keep looking beyond that. It didn't even enter my mind that the dog training world would be so divided. I never thought that there would. Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Like, did you even know that there were different schools of thought, or was it just dog training is dog training? Yeah,
that's absolutely it. Yeah. And that was the hardest bit, because it's like this misnomer, like who was telling the truth? That's how it felt at one point. But at this stage that we're talking about, where it was that early, I didn't see anything that was countering what these people were doing. To be fair, I went into it not knowing what their methods were. Right. There's nothing on their website. It just says balanced.
Right, and that sounds holistic.
It sounds lovely. Yeah, it sounds a really, really clever word to use, because you just go, oh, okay, balance. That sounds nice.
Yeah,
and it didn't even come into my mind that balance would imply positive with negative. I don't know. And you're so, at that point, you're so tired and you're so desperate, I think, that you're like, sure, if you know better than me, I'll hand off this thing that's so precious to me, and you just tell me what to do and I'll do it blindly. And that's what we kind of did.
So did they make any promises before you met them?
They didn't. We bought the package on my credit card because I was broke at the time, and we had a quick call, and I think I actually cried on the call because I was so tired and overwhelmed. And he was very reassuring, and he said, we have rescues all the time, particularly from abroad. And he just was like, no problem. It sounds, I can't really remember the exact phrasing on the call, but he kind of, I guess implied that it was easy. It was linear. It was an easy solution to this, and to come to them.
Was he interested in much information about Max? Did he want to know much about, his day-to-day life? Did he want to know about his health or about his poos or about anything like that?
Great question. No, not at all. There wasn't a single question about that. I think if there was one, if I'm really stretching my memory back now, I think they maybe asked, did I walk him a lot? Like, how often was he getting exercised? Right. But beyond that, there was absolutely nothing. And even when we met with them, nothing. We just went straight into this boilerplate textbook formula that they just applied to every single dog. Yeah. They didn't really know him.
That's so interesting. They weren't because you will often hear balanced trainers say, we need to work with the dog that's in front of us. Whereas actually, with every dog that's in front of them, they do the same thing. Yeah,
yeah, it's so true, yeah.
Which is to punish and to make them submit.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me about that first session.
So immediately it was like, here's a slip lead.
Right.
They get one out. It was so short. He had Max had no room. It was super, super short. Just a rope slip lead. They put it on him, and they were like, let's just do some walking around this car park with him. So we did that for a bit. He was understandably terrified, as he often was at that point. And I remember the guy saying to us, oh, you've got a really, really sensitive dog here. And we were like, yeah, you're telling us. And then the formula was just that they would get a dog out of one of their vans, walk around the car park with it. He would react, and then they would say, pop the lead, which I think anybody who's done balance training will know that instruction. But for those that don't, it's like you're like flicking your wrist, aren't you? Like basically like jolting the dog.
Yeah, quick yank on the lead to inflict pain on them.
Exactly, yeah. And to make it like there's a consequence.
Yeah.
And there's a few sound bites from that time that have really like haunted me. And one of them was in that first session, we were told you have to break a dog down to build them back up.
Wow.
And that's not love. That's not, but I remember you're studying, you're listening to this person who's got these seemingly perfectly well-trained dogs, and you're like, wow, okay, I've got to break him down. Yeah, that really stuck with me.
It's vile, isn't it? The idea that it's not building them back up, it's breaking them down, and then they just are so shut down that they will comply.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it.
Exactly. And by the end of that session, there were dogs around him and he wasn't reacting. But I look back now and I'm like, well, he was shut down. He was absolutely terrified. And what I didn't realise, which was so dangerous as well, is his trust in me, which was already in its infancy, was breaking down.
Yeah.
Because he now can't trust me not to put him in situations where he feels unsafe.
Yeah.
And that's what's so insidious about it as well, is it sets you backwards. It's not going, we weren't going anywhere.
And it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy whereby that treatment actually makes the dog often get worse.
Yeah.
And so then that gives these trainers carte blanche to then say, okay, now you need to go in heavier. So let's get a prong collar on this dog now.
That is exactly what happened. Yes.
Oh, did they get a prong collar?
No, never got a prong collar. But so we sorry about
Max
that.
just sneezed. Then you need to do a little lead pop there. We're not having sneezing during the podcast. Joke, listener. That's a joke.
Well, so we applied what they taught us. We would go away. We would walk him around Heaton. He would see a dog. We would pop.
How did that feel?
Awful, absolutely awful. But at the same time, there's so much. My algorithm became this echo chamber of trainers like this, and then at the same time, part of the package that you bought, you were in a WhatsApp group with all their other clients who are getting these results, and so your gut is telling you this don't feel right. And I had this intrusive thought all the time. I would think, oh, I'm an animal abuser. I remember thinking that and being like, hating or walking around, even when Max wasn't with me, thinking at people looking at me thinking she's that girl that hurts her dog. But all the data and the objective stuff is telling you, no, this is what you have to do. In the same way Max hates the vet, but I make him go. It felt adjacent to that. Okay, he hates this, but I have to do it for him to be happy.
It's for his benefit. I'm being cruel to be kind.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how it was framed.
Yeah.
So we were doing the popping, and then just to your point about how they would say, they would escalate it if it wasn't working. We took Max back. We said, hey, it kind of feels like we're escalating the situation when we pop him. He gets more stress, understandably. And what he would do when we were popping him, he'd go from barking at the dog to barking at us. And they would say that classic thing, it's attitude. He's giving you attitude. And so they said, the consequence isn't big enough. Pop him harder. And then they would do this thing where they would say, literally pop him like loads of times in succession, so he literally doesn't get the chance to bark. So it wasn't one pop, he was like bang, 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 like he literally showed us, do it like this. And I don't know why when someone's saying to you, this isn't actually working, you would go, well, do it, you're not doing it hard enough. And do you know what's ironic, Kerry, is one of the things they taught us when I'd said, look, if say there's a dog coming and I know that he's too close to that dog and he's going to react, and I don't want to have to pop him. He would say, create space. And he would say, get a treat and say, come and get the dog away, which is a common tactic in positive reinforcement circles, right? That tactic worked. And we got progress with that tactic. But when he did react, we were still popping. And I look back and I'm like, the one bit of your method that works, you've nicked from the positive reinforcement people. And you're trying to say that's, he would say that's bribery and that's manipulation, but that was the thing that worked.
Yeah, and also that's a common criticism that balance trainers make. Oh, it's bribery. It's not bribery because we're not luring them. We're not saying, come over here, you're going to get a treat. We are allowing them to make the choice, and when they make the choice, they are rewarded. So they're I don't know whether it's willful ignorance or whether it is just manipulation, but they don't understand or won't understand the nuance.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that session then, so you went home and you'd been told you need to go in heavier. What happened then?
So we went in heavier. And that's when, you asked about people saying stuff to you. My partner had it once where a man came up to him and said, I think you're doing that too hard. Like, surely you don't have to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Having met your partner.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him doing something to Max that warranted a stranger coming up to him and saying that. That genuinely shocks me.
It's crazy because for context, my partner's very gentle and quiet, isn't he? And he worships Max. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how these people? This is what I find so fascinating, that these people can get good people to do horrible things. Yeah. You two are very, very lovely compassionate people.
Thank
And
you.
honestly, like from the moment I met you, I was like, these are good, lovely people. I'm floored that you were manipulated into doing this to Max. I can't. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. It's we carry a lot of shame, I think, and it really made me interrogate who am I as a person because I did this. And being completely vulnerable, it's a topic that my partner and I don't talk about, is that chapter in our lives, because we're that ashamed of ourselves. So it's a really touchy topic for us. We don't like it because it made us question who we are, if we were capable of that. And we had some sessions, and I think this may have been the last one we actually went to. We got in the car to drive home. It was like a 40-minute drive, and we couldn't look at each other or speak, because that was one of the ones where he'd really told us, this guy had said to us, I want you to pop him as hard as you physically can. And we were like, are you sure? Like, what if we hurt him? And the guy was like, no, your brain will stop you from actually hurting it. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, you can't see this, but my jaw just nearly hit the floor there. Your brain will stop you from hurting him.
He said, like if you bite your finger, like they say your jaw is strong enough to bite your finger off, but your brain stops you. He used that comparison.
And all these phrases that they just wheel out.
Yeah.
Absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I know.
Absolute pseudoscience, but they say it with such conviction, don't they?
Yeah,
that it's
they do.
Like, good people are just like, okay, right, you're the professional.
Yeah.
You've got all these reviews.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt. But there was definitely that gut feeling that I mentioned. It just grew and grew the longer we worked with them. And I mean, I spent well over £1,000 on these people, and
it's disgusting.
Yeah, I know. And I was in this group chat with all these clients, and they were all saying they were getting these results and how amazing these guys were. And I think in the end, actually, I do know, we didn't use up all the sessions. I just let them keep my money, and we just ghosted them. We just stopped turning up because I didn't know how to have the conversation with them, because they were so heavy-handed. Yeah. I didn't know how to say, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
So we just stopped.
And that's what they rely on. They know that you don't have the education behind you to argue them.
Yeah.
They don't have the education either. So if someone actually went to them with an education about it, they wouldn't have the argument. I'm just, I'm stunned by that. Absolutely stunned by that.
Know. But yeah, he would always vomit in the car. So we would pretty much always arrive with him with vomit on him. But then, do you know what's crazy is I kept spending that money, and we would just do the same thing every session. They would just get dogs out, walk them around Max, and then we would pop Max, and then once Max eventually stopped reacting, we would get in the car and go.
And that's what the money was for. Like, just wear the dog down. There's no... Yeah. It's so crude, isn't it? There's no skill. There's no intelligence. There's no theory behind it.
No.
It's purely kind of caveman style. Let's just hit the thing until it stops doing the thing.
Yeah. And I went on their website not that long ago, actually, after working with you, to look at the website through the lens that I have now. And there's not a single qualification. And I look back and I think, oh, you stupid girl. Like, why did I not think, surely they would have all these little logos all over and stuff like that, but there's none of it. But the website looks lovely. It looks very legitimate. There's pictures of dogs walking to perfect heel. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, you've got a Malinois puppy to walk in perfect heel. Like you're an amazing dog trainer because you managed that. Yeah. But I used to look at that and go, well, they must know what they're doing. So I think they're still operating as far as I know. And they have a big, really passionate following of people who have got results from them.
Yeah, they will have. They will have. There'll be a lot of broken dogs out there that are appearing obedient. Yeah. That will be obedient. Yeah. But are just broken inside. Yeah. But that's what they wanted. The trainers, I mean. So you stopped working with those, and then you tried another trainer, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. So we took a hiatus. We'd sort of sworn off dog trainers, to be honest, because at this point my algorithm, the truth was breaking through and I was getting positive ones. But at that point we were just so overwhelmed by it all. We stopped using their methods. So we still had a slip lead, but we didn't pop him. And we would just use like treats on walks. And yeah, we went to a dog treat shop, which I will say is now closed. And we were chatting to the girl behind the counter.
I know the one you mean.
Yes, and she said, I have a friend, and this friend has just had a massive breakthrough with, and she specifically said, a Romanian Rescue. And so that's like music to our ears. So we're like, okay, amazing. And I don't know whether it's because it was a woman, it was a bit more informal, she came to my house, I don't know what, there was just lots of things about it that I thought, okay, I'm open to this, let's give this a go. And honestly, I think she was worse.
Wow. Did you speak to her before she came round?
Only over Instagram.
And did she get a history?
No. It was just coordinating when she would come and what the issue was. So I'd said, reactivity and stuff. And then, she showed up one day.
I just find that in itself baffling.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to work with a dog and you're not even like asking questions about, how is the dog when I come in the home?
Exactly. What do you need from me when I come in? Yeah, to keep him calm. Yeah, none of that. She just went in blind, which is crazy.
Because she didn't care.
Yeah.
She was going to do what she was going to do, regardless of what the dog did.
Yeah.
This is what I do, and the dog needs to fit in with me. Okay, so tell me what happened.
So she comes in. At this point, I do need to add the context for anybody listening. I'm still very sleep deprived because at this point I cry a lot. So we're exhausted. We're still trying to get Max's confidence up. Don't really know what we're doing. She comes in, and I think it was maybe the first session, she said that Max was pathetic. She said, "You've just got a pathetic dog."
What was he doing?
He was frightened, so he barked a lot at her, which is so funny saying this with you sat there and he's fast asleep on the floor. Yeah. He'd barked quite a lot, and she'd said, that he was pathetic, and she said the way to get him to stop barking at people in the house was to put him in a crate, because he has a crate, put him in his crate and then chuck glasses of water in his face until he stops. And then when he stops, he can come out. So I was like in shock. And I remember again, people pleasing a little bit. I kept laughing and I kept going, "Are you sure?" This sounds funny. And she was like, yeah, it works.
Because it sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Awful.
Yeah, cruel, but also
so
ridiculous.
Cruel. Yeah, and then she also wanted to, we did it for one walk, slipped from a rope slip lead to a chain slip lead, and then she believed in popping. Do you know what's also crazy? She basically had the same methods as the ones before, but I would say she was even harsher.
Right.
But she told me that I had completely messed up my dog by going with these guys, and it was my fault. And I remember her saying it to me because I couldn't stop crying for the whole session. She was like, "I'm really sorry that I'm the one that has to tell you this. He's like this because of you." Yeah, and I was crying. My partner wasn't in; he was away. I was crying so much.
You're her customer.
I know. And how are you going to get the outcome you want by making me feel that small?
She was, in a sense, breaking you down as well. Yeah. As well as trying to break Max down, she was trying to break you down. Yeah. To make you both utterly compliant. Yeah. Not asking any questions.
No, she didn't. She didn't ask anything. And so then I didn't want to do it, so she was chucking water in his face in his crate, and he just got more and more panicked and stressed. And then she said, then she curled up in a ball.
She did?
Yeah, bear with me here. Next to his crate, and didn't look at him, and she said, "What I'm going to do is the most submissive stance you can possibly do with a dog, and let's just see if he stops barking because he realises I'm submissive after you've chucked water in his face." Yeah, so she did that.
What a clown.
It was crazy. And then he obviously didn't stop because he was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Yeah. It was a lot of stuff like that. And then we did a lot of heel walk with the chain slip, and it was a very concentrated, when she was around, the tension in all of us felt super high, so naturally we weren't getting the best results out of Max. And I think we maybe did 3 sessions with her. I can say truthfully now, one of them I faked being ill because I just didn't want to go. My partner went for me because she made me that anxious, and then we ghosted her. So we didn't do many sessions with her, but the damage she did in that window, he really struggled with people in the house after that. Like it went crazy. Yeah. And that's taken maybe a year and a half, and obviously a lot of work with you to get him to feel safe around new people, because she was so cruel. And she just made, the way that woman made me feel that day, I'll never forget that feeling. I felt so stupid. I felt pathetic. She was calling my dog pathetic. But she kind of implied, yeah, that I'd done this. I'd brought this upon myself. And at that point I was, yeah, over £1,000 I'd spent on the other people, and then I was spending a few hundred on her. It was wild. I don't know if she's still operating. I don't know her. I don't know if you know. I don't know her deal.
I believe she is.
Is she? Do you know, we had a really interesting session with her once, and my partner's quite an interrogative person. Like, I could have been in the military. If you tell me to do something, I'll do it. Whereas my partner's like, and I warned Kerry about this, and he came out, my partner has a lot of questions, and he likes to know the science and understand it. And
right.
Yeah, and I do think part of that comes from our experience as well.
Yeah.
But we were out walking Max with her, and she kept insisting that we walked him on the left. And my partner was like, can you just explain to me why he has to be on the left? Because he's kind of sniffing something there. And she just said, no, that's just how you do it. That's just what you do. And that was a real turning point, because I was like, oh, you don't know. No. You don't actually know. And there's no science behind why. He doesn't know left and right.
No.
He's not like, oh, on the left I'll react less.
No. It's just arbitrary obedience for obedience sake.
Exactly.
With nothing to support it. No science underpinning it.
Exactly.
It's just because that's what I do.
Yeah. And her method was, Max isn't even allowed to look at another dog. So the pop came, even if he turned his head, he got popped. He had to keep his eyes to the front and in perfect heel, and that was a walk.
It's so, I was going to say dehumanising, but they're not human. De-dogging.
It's demoralising, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, it's degrading. And like, what is his quality of life ever going to be if that's my expectation of him? I'm at a point now where I truly couldn't care less about whether he walks to a heel.
No.
I want him confident and happy and healthy. They're my like three, like holy trinity. I want those three things. Whereas what's dangerous about these trainers is they completely warp it and they make it that your expectation should be perfection. They're animals, and especially I've got a street dog. He's never going to be perfect. There's a lot going on genetically over there in that corner, fast asleep. So yeah, it's wild.
It's I always find that when I see a dog that is walking rigidly next to somebody, eyes facing forward, it always makes me really sad. I don't feel impressed by it or anything like that. I just think, look at that poor dog that has no freedom, is not allowed to look around and look at their surroundings, take in their environment, process the things that are around, notice things. You may as well just take a robot out if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. And then what, you're surprised then when the dog is stressed and is struggling to moderate their emotions. Like when we started working with you, one of the things you'd said was, loose lead, let him crack on, let him go at his own pace. And the energy of the walk has just dropped. It just feels calmer.
Yeah.
Because he's just cracking on and he's sniffing. And sometimes the dog's gone past and I don't even need treats because the smell's that good. And it's because I've lowered those expectations and actually just said, my only expectation of you is to just do you.
Yeah.
And we'll figure it out. If a dog comes, we'll figure it out together. And that's how it feels now. I feel like before, he and I were at odds.
Yeah.
And I could feel it in our relationship as well. We didn't speak the same language.
No.
Whereas now the trust and he's a different person. He's a different character in the house. Like he's sort of cracked open and he's sillier now, and he sleeps more on his back and all these little things that I didn't notice that he didn't do back then. He does them now. So it's so all encompassing. As I said actually in the beginning of the podcast, it's so insidious, the impact that these trainers have. Yeah. It runs so deep. And it can take a lot of undoing. Definitely.
They need to have a sense of agency and autonomy and just, I just always think if a dog is worried about a dog being near them and they're not allowed to react, how are they able to say to us, I'm not comfortable?
Yeah.
Or is it that they're not allowed to be uncomfortable? So if we're saying that a dog isn't allowed to be uncomfortable with a dog being near them, then we're saying you're not allowed to have feelings. So then what's the point?
Yeah, what am I doing here?
What is the point of having this dog? Why are you walking them? What is it you want them to get out of it? Why not just attach them to a treadmill in the corner of the room so that they don't get to interact with anything in the world?
Exactly.
Don't have any feelings or choices about anything.
Exactly. That's one of the things that really changed my perspective on having a reactive dog was the quote, "Fear is a feeling, not a behaviour."
Yeah.
And that's really stuck with me. Like, he's allowed to be scared. I can't punish him for feeling scared.
No.
But again, that is how these people operate. And the thing that really bugs me as well is that not one of them, for all the money I spent on them, for all the time they spent with my dog, ever mentioned pain.
No.
And that really bugs me, because I just think it's so, to me, now I have the information, it's so obvious. To you, it was so obvious straight away.
Yeah, when I first met Max, there were a few clues that he was in pain. I think one of the things that first jumped out at me was that he couldn't settle in one position for long. He was constantly moving around. This was after he'd got used to me being there and he was comfortable with me being in the room, which actually didn't take long for him at all. He did really well, didn't he? And this isn't an exercise in me blowing my own trumpet. I just wanted to get to the point about...
blow it.
No, but it's not that. It's just that it was taking that time to actually just observe him and find out who he was and what is his struggle, what's going on, what's the barrier he's having to feeling 100% comfortable. And so, he kept moving around. He was chewing himself.
Yeah.
And there was an awkwardness to his gait. We had a little look at the way he walked up the stairs as well, didn't we? And it was like, your dog's got some pain going on there.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got some sort of, hip dysplasia, or there's something going on there which would explain his not wanting other dogs to come near him.
Yeah.
And the fact that those people weren't allowing him to say, "Oh, don't come over here."
I know.
And instead inflicting more pain on him without an ounce of curiosity.
And how many clients do they have that the dog's in pain? That's what I think.
And even if he didn't have pain going on, he still has that right to be choosy.
Respected as well, and have his space respected, completely.
Yeah, to be able to say, "I don't like this."
Yeah. I know, it's crazy. That kind of trajectory, what am I trying to say? That was a real juncture for us, I think, was realising that there was more going on here inside his head. And it was, am I allowed to shout out Olive & Co and Amy down the road?
Yeah.
So Olive & Co, Amy's a dog walker and she's amazing. And she was the one that got me onto Kerry. And these two women have completely changed my life and Max's life for the better. And we'd started working with Amy walking Max. And it was maybe the second walk she did with him, bless her. She was at my front door. And I think she was really cautious about overstepping. And she said, I just really think he's in pain. And she was the first one that had ever said it.
Right.
First one that had ever... And we did the awfully arrogant thing of, "Are you sure? Like, I feel like we would know. Like, he runs at the beach." You know.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think part of it's denial. And then Amy had recommended you and had recommended a physiotherapist as well. And the three of you were all, like, conclusively, as you just said, with all the data points there, he's in pain.
Yeah.
And to you, it was so organic, like, it was so clear. And that was crazy. And I feel like you're not going to blow your own horn, so I'm going to blow your horn in case any prospective clients are listening. I'm sorry, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. This house adores Kerry. Kerry is an absolute gift to dogs and to this community. And I think I've said it before, you've healed so much in this house. Like, he's such a happier dog. But I don't feel anxiety going for a walk now, and I can't tell you how lovely that is. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, it was a breath of fresh air coming in. You were so open to everything. You were just like, we'll stand back. And
you're the oracle, listen.
You do your thing. And I think the important thing that we did differently, well, there was so much that we did differently than what those guys did, was just allowing him the space and the time to make the choice over whether or not he wanted to come anywhere near me. I was up for him not coming anywhere near me for the entire session, and I was just going to be, just tossing the odd treat towards him, not paying him any attention, just letting him know I'm not a threat to you, but there is nice things coming from me, but you don't even have to do anything. There's no manipulation going on here. But eventually he was curious and he wandered over and he wanted to see what was going on. And that was it. And then he was fine, wasn't he? He was just laying down and just being the Max that he is now, just kind of snoozing. And it was that easy, and there was no rocket science to it.
I know, I remember saying that to you, like, oh my gosh, I was like, you're a genius. And you were like, Amy, this is so basic.
So basic.
but when you've been battered around and you've really been indoctrinated a little bit, like, it was... and then you did this. And I really don't like saying the word silver bullet, but it felt like a silver bullet. Like, you just came and everything you told us to do, there was an instant improvement. It didn't fix everything immediately,
No.
but there was an instant, oh wow, he's way calmer. And the same with walks and stuff. It's just been totally different. And one question that we don't allow ourselves to ask in this house is, oh God, imagine if we met Kerry when we first got him. And we both go, nope, we're not allowed to consider that.
Maybe that happened so that you could tell your story and educate other people about it. You know, if there's any, in Buddhism, we talk about poison into medicine. So those experiences were definitely the poison, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
But it's become a fantastic teaching point for other people.
Yeah.
And you mustn't blame yourself.
Thank you.
Because the very fact that you were open when I came in to kind of, okay, you do what you're going to do. You were like that with those people as well. You put your dog in their hands because they told you they were going to help you. They had one job to help you, and they didn't do it. And you went to someone else who, again, one job, failed to do that. And that is the big problem in this industry, that there are too many people that would rather battle and fight a dog than help them. They're not interested in helping them. They want power over them.
Yeah, they want power. It's a power thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And if anybody is listening who has gone down that balance training route or is kind of bought into that world, you are not a bad owner. You are a wonderful owner. You did what you thought was right in the moment, and you can't fix the past, you can't correct that, but I think you can choose every day to love your dog in the way they deserve to be loved. And yeah, from somebody that's the biggest softie in the world that got indoctrinated by it, it's so easy to happen. When I met you, you said they're so convincing, and they are.
Amy, thank you so much for your openness and for being so vulnerable and talking about this, and for how you care for Max. He's a lovely, lovely boy, a happy boy, and really appreciate you telling your story.
Thank you for the time, and I didn't cry, we really thought I would. So
I said to Amy, go for it, it'll be gold.
It'll be gold. Podcast gold.
And there you have it. So I want to just say to Amy and to anyone else that's listening that has been through something similar and who perhaps feel shame or guilt for the things that they did to their dog in the name of dog training, I want you to know that you are just as much a victim as your dog is. Because if you went to a professional and you trusted a professional and they told you that's what you had to do, you were following advice that you thought was legitimate, that was real. So please know that you are a victim as well. But once you have the information, once you know that that sort of method or that treatment is unethical, is cruel, etc., and you make a commitment to do better with the new information that you have, that's brilliant. That's great. We're always doing the best that we can. Please share this podcast with people that you know that may be under the spell of somebody that doesn't have their best interests at heart or their dog's best interests at heart. And if you've enjoyed listening to this at times difficult story, this difficult episode, please subscribe, like, share, all of that. And if you are on TikTok or Instagram, you can follow me on there. Just look up Howl School for Dogs. And don't forget, if you want to work with me, you can do from anywhere in the world remotely. Or if you live in the area that I live in, you can work with me in person. Currently, that's the Newcastle upon Tyne area. But who knows where I'll be in the future.